happy to have Reed Watson with us today. The show is called Freedom Sings, Musicians Talk Activism and Social Change. And Reed is someone I've gotten to know from just across the river from me. I'm here in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Reed's across the river in Florence, where he is the label manager and part of the ownership team of Single Lock Records, which is based in Florence, Alabama. He's been a drummer for Bella Dare, John Paul White, Cedric Burnside, and most recently, I guess, the current project is Speckled Bird, which has an EP releasing July 3rd. And first, welcome, Reed, and let me know if I'm missing anything or if any of that's incorrect.
No, that's dead on. I just want them to see your shirt. I feel like having that shirt on and interviewing me is sort of revealing your cards before the full hand is dealt. So
it is. But you know,
I'm in friendly company here, so I'm not too worried.
Exactly.
But thanks for having me on. I really appreciate
it. You know, you guys are the local label, so we're certainly happy to support you here.
Thank you.
And so we love having you guys across the river and love the music that you're putting out. And I wanted to talk music just briefly, and then we'll move on to some other subjects, which is kind of what the show is more about. But Speckled Bird, I pre-ordered the EP a few days ago when Bandcamp was having their thing where they were giving 100% of profits to the artists. Single Lock was actually giving 100% to a group called Project Say Something, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But first, who is Speckled Bird, for those who don't know about the band?
So Speckled Bird is really a project that Adam Morrow and I, who I've known Adam for almost my whole life. We grew up together in Tuscaloosa, and Adam and I have been playing music together in some shape, form, or fashion for nearly that long. And so long time ago, when Bella Dare had an opening, we brought in Adam to play guitar there. And then when John Paul White had an opening, we brought in Adam to play guitar there. And then a house down the street had an opening, and we brought Adam in to fill that house. And now Adam lives here. And, you know, we want to play music. And luckily, another one of our friends, Jamie Seago, and this to me is one of the coolest things about this area. So Muscle Shoals Sound moved to a second location, right, in the late 70s, early 80s. And that building is still around. Cypress Moon Studios is what they call it now. Mm-hmm. Studio B in there is Portside Sound. Mm-hmm. And Jamie Seago, a young guy from here, pretty much is in charge and in control of that studio. They mixed a Bob Dylan record in that room. Right. You know, this is one of the only places in the world where, you know, like Jamie could get his handle on that. So it's really incredible. And so we just happen to live in this really, really fascinating place where we, you know, Jamie's in our band, and that means we have access to a studio all the time, and not just a clinky home studio, a really great studio. Right. And so we started talking about, you know, let's go record at night when there's nothing else going on, because there's not a lot going on here, and that's always fun to go get creative. And those sessions really led to us doing this project. So it's a 4-song EP. There are a lot more songs that we've cut. We felt like these 4 were really the kind of the top-notch selections of that bunch, and it comes out July 3rd. And we've had a couple of singles come out already from it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's some people, because of, we are very lucky, and we have been in other successful things. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that, because music, you know, this music business is definitely, I do believe you make your own luck, but there is also an element of luck.
Right.
And we've all been lucky. So a lot of people will refer to it as a side project, which I totally understand. But we've treated it as a project. And we're really proud of it. And it's a 4-song EP. It's sort of our introduction. And I suspect that you'll see a lot more music from us for a long time, because those are those are guys that I really like playing music with. Ben Tanner, who is a co-owner of Single Lock with me, he plays keys on it. And then every once in a while we bring down Parker McAnally from the Prescriptions, another Single Lock artist. He comes down and plays bass. And so there's sort of a rotating cast of characters that have been involved in it. But I would say the core four, as it were, would be me, Adam, Ben, and Jamie. So,
well, and I was wondering if, because I had the good fortune of seeing you guys live, and is that the only actual live performance that you've played in front of a?
No, we've done. We did. Trying to think. We did see a show, and we did like a weekend where we went to Chattanooga and then Athens and somewhere else, I think. I just remember it like snowed 4 inches in Chattanooga that day, which was really bizarre. But no, we've done a couple of shows here and there, and honestly, the reason we haven't done more, it's my fault, because of Cedric Burnside stuff. Right. You know, up until the pandemic, I was pretty much never home, and so it's a primarily a recording project, and that's mostly my fault.
Right. Well, it was great to see you guys live. The one time that I did see you, which was in Sheffield, Alabama, and so it was good to get a glimpse of what you guys are like as a live band, in addition to the 4-song EP that you're just releasing July 3rd. Hope everybody checks that out. Speckled Bird. It's on Single Lock Records. It will be available on all the streaming things, and it's digital only, right? I went through Bandcamp and
it's digital. It's digital only for now. And I mean, a lot of that is because of, again, the pandemic. I mean, we can press CDs or whatever, but if we want to press vinyl, it's going to take a bit right now.
Yeah.
So, and you can't really sell stuff like that without going out and playing shows. So, digital for now, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody marks their calendars for July 3rd, Speckled Bird. And as I said, I had pre-ordered that EP on that particular day because the profits were going to a group called Project Say Something, which is over on your side of the river in Lauderdale County, Florence. And they've been working for a few years on various projects in terms of racial injustice and things along those kinds of concerns. But one of their current things is trying to get the Confederate monument that's on the Lauderdale County Courthouse grounds moved to the Florence City Cemetery, to a specific part of that called Soldiers Rest, and which I think is an amazing compromise on that. To me, that seems actually a little too nice, but no one asked me. But
you know how progress comes in this part of the world.
Exactly. And so, we were had this Zoom interview planned today, and I'm looking at the Times Daily this morning, and lo and behold, quotes from Reed Watson. Got your name in the newspaper, son.
Yeah, they love to quote me.
You are famous.
I always say something that's just outlandish enough for them to get excited about.
Yeah, and the one that
I've saved all my Times Daily quotes. I have like a stack of newspapers up there because a couple of the guys that write for them they love to call me and get me to say something ridiculous. So
well, and the one that I've especially liked from today is, have you seen a lot of Confederate monument tourism here lately? Nice.
Yeah.
I can't say that I have. I can't say
I've
never seen anyone.
I was just really grateful that, because that was sort of in the what do they call it, like the public comments part at the end of the commission meeting or whatever.
Right.
And they cut off the second part of that comment, which was, how many Grammy nominations does that Confederate monument have? And I was surprised that they didn't put that in the paper. I thought that was for sure what they were going to put, but
That's
that's
a great
okay.
quote. That is a great quote, and it's very true. I've never seen anyone here specifically to tour the Confederate monuments, but
well, if they don't think a little bit and watch out, this place is going to become known for something that's not good. And behind the scenes, I don't think your average community member in this area understands how the tourism boom here happened. I think they just think, oh, people just like, wild horses and they all want to come here. That's not true, actually. What happened is somebody came here and made a documentary about the area. And then that was followed up by literally every major newspaper and magazine of note, and certainly every travel newspaper and magazine of note, writing a story on this area. And if you think that going forward, that these publications are going to keep doing these stories on an area that embraces a symbol, which is quite frankly a symbol of hatred, that is sitting down in front of that courthouse, we got to get with the program. That's not going to happen. And people need to understand that we are on thin ice with that thing.
Yeah.
It's gone on too long. And Project Say Something has been leading this discussion for 4 years now. This is not a new discussion for them. They just now have gotten enough political headwind to actually get people's minds to sort of change about it. But this has really been going on for a long time. And we're just, as a community, if we want to take part in and continue to take part in the $49 million of revenue that the music business in the Shoals area brings into this area every single year, then I think it's really important that we start considering what our public-facing image is. And that has no space here. Certainly not when you're talking about a history of music here where black and white people got together and created all these great hits. Like, that's a really wonderful story to tell. But if we don't back it up in action, then, I'm not sure it measures up. So I was proud to go down there and at least try to represent the music community here, which I think most certainly deserves a voice in that discussion and at that table. And I was also pleased to hear that it looks like it's coming down. The mayor of Florence has said he wants it down, and it looks like the county has basically told the city to do what they want to with it, and I think it's going to go down. So that's a really positive development for this area, and I hope it happens. Right,
and a very recent development, and it was kind of confusing as I was looking at that today, along with the Reed Watson quotes. It's like, so if the county is just saying, well, technically the city owns it and they can do what they want, I was like, why wasn't that made clear?
Because the only way you have progress in this part of the country is coverage for people who aren't ready to progress. I hate to say that. That's pretty ridiculous to me, but it is a fact. And a couple of people on that county commission needed political coverage, so they can go back to their constituency further out in the county, and it wasn't me. If that is how progress has to happen, then we take that progress and then the next time we push it a little further on something else, because there's always something else to further this discussion, because we're a broken country and we need to get better. So
and that's one reason why I wanted to have you on the show. I know you and I have talked enough in the past to where I think we have a pretty similar outlook on what needs to happen both in the Shoals area and in the country. And I know that Single Lock as a label has certainly kind of done its part in terms of kind of social change, social justice, activism over the life of the label, which is not that long, just a few years. But what else can you tell us just a little bit about the label, some of the artists that are on the label, and kind of what you guys have done and hope to do in the future when it comes to sort of activism and social change.
Well, we've always tried to make that a part of what we do on a daily basis. So notably, there are a couple of things that we have been a part of that I think sort of got outside of the Florence city limits in terms of news coverage. The first one, about 3 or 4 years ago, there was a pretty big, it might have been, and I really can't. The sad thing is that there have been so many flashpoints in like the racial justice fight over the last 5 to 6 years that I cannot recall specifically which flashpoint it was.
Right. But
it was another rally at Wilson Park. Project Say Something was involved in it, of course. And the Ku Klux Klan showed up, you know, two Klansmen in robes, which is just kind of antique. Right. But somebody took a picture of it, obviously, and we put it on our website, and it was just like, this is inexcusable. This is totally inexcusable, and we feel like we have a responsibility as an arts company here to make a statement on this and try to turn this bad moment into something that's good and positive. And so we just did these random grab bags. Like if you know, paid $15, we'll send you 3 CDs. Pay $30, we'll send you 3 LPs. We're just going to close our eyes and pick them off the wall. And all the money from that, we're going to donate to a number of different organizations that are dedicated to racial justice. The most prominent of them now would be the Equal Justice Initiative. We requested that money be earmarked for the lynching monument that they later built. That meant a lot to me personally. I just think, you know, we were just talking about how progress moves slowly sometimes. For there to be a national memorial to peace and justice in Montgomery, Alabama, that's a really quick, that really appeared quickly. I know that there was years of work to get to that point, but from the minute I heard about that to 2 years later being able to go to it, pretty remarkable. And so we wanted to support that, and that was, I think we ended up raising around 30 grand that time. People really responded to that. I think a lot of it's because of the photo. Mm-hmm. Such a shocking, damning photograph for this area. You know, the Times Daily wouldn't run that photo, but we did. And I think that was important. Just recently, when the coronavirus hit, we had this huge South by Southwest show in Austin planned. We had to cancel the whole thing. We had a bunch of posters done. And so we just sold the posters and gave all the money for that to Common Ground Shoals, which is a group over on the west side of town that, you know, does a lot of after school programs and mentoring for young people. And just thought that'd be cool. They were helping feed kids that relied on school lunches when school was closed. And I thought that was great. Primarily African Americans. I mean, because of the racial makeup of our city and the way, you know, it's pretty much the west side of town is where Black people are, and the east side of town is where everybody, you know, and it just, these are the realities we deal with here. Right. And, you know, we felt like that was something truly worth supporting. And then, as you said, you know, the Project Say Something stuff that we've been doing. We also supported Project Say Something back 4 years ago. They were one of the charities one of the organizations that we sent money to. Right. So we've tried really hard to make sure that people know where we stand and know where we sort of exist. I think it's important, you know, like there was a lot of discussion, you know, over the last 2 or 3 weeks about virtue signaling.
Right.
You know, everybody's got to post their black box, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I kind of like virtue signaling because I like to know who is willing to step out and say, this is right and this is wrong.
Right.
And I think it's important for specifically for organizations in the arts to make that clear.
Right.
Artists should be and traditionally have been leaders. And our voices are needed now more than ever, in my opinion, and specifically in this part of the country where we really can enact change. If you don't think artists can enact change, you know, talk to Jason Isbell or any other people, you know, like him who have, or Patterson Hood or anybody like that who's stepped out and taken a lot of flack for it, but also, in my opinion, probably made people step back and think. And that's a really great role for art. And we try to make sure that we're doing that as well. So we were signaling our virtues, and I've taken note locally who has signaled their virtues and who haven't. And I think everybody should, and I think everybody should spend their money accordingly. We should lift up people who represent the kind of society that we want to live in. And so that's sort of part of that for us too.
I'm glad that you said what you did, and that's part of the reason why I started this show, is for artists to have a platform to talk about issues that are important to them. And what has been amazing to me is the blowback that people like Jason Isbell, who is from Lauderdale County, and of course Patterson Hood and Mike Cooley, who are from Colbert County originally, drive-by truckers, and you know, they get those comments all the time, like, you know, I used to like your music until you started doing all that political stuff, and you know, it's like, how much for you guys at Single Lock, and I know John Paul White is one of the owners of Single Lock, and played a Democratic fundraiser last year, and I saw a bit of the blowback from that. But how many internal conversations do you guys have about how far do we want to go, knowing that it's going to really irritate a certain segment of our fans?
We've never really, I mean, we've certainly had conversations about specifically how to say things. I mean, you know, the ownership of Single Lock, we represent, I mean, it's a bunch of white guys, first of all, that own the company. So there you go. That's a thing. And we have to be sensitive to that reality. But, you know, we've got owners that go to church every Sunday. We have owners that don't. You know, I mean, there are different, we do have different perspectives, but we all fundamentally agree on these things. And so it's never a question of whether we want to say something. Everybody, it's almost like a reflex at this point. We know we want to say something, and we know when we're going to say it. We certainly do have discussions about how to say things, and how do we say things in a way that represents the entirety of our ownership, which I think is healthy. You know, I mean, I like those conversations. I think it's important to, you know, to recognize and understand that, you know, I mean, even at those rallies that they've been having at the courthouse, there are a lot of different people there. But for different people, whatever your difference is, for different people to all agree on something, I don't know, it's refreshing. It's kind of rare these days. So I try to, I'm usually the person that's writing this stuff. You know, it's usually my words, but I try to reflect everybody's heart. So that's really the only discussion we have about it. I mean, honestly, it's usually pretty quick too. It's like, it's not, are we going to say something? It's what are we going to say?
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys and the stand that you've taken.
Thank you.
I've just been back in this area for a couple of years, so it's been great to get to know you and the Single Lock crew. Great music coming out of there, which we certainly appreciate the music aspect, but we also appreciate the stand that you take for justice and just doing the right thing. And I want to remind everyone again, Speckled Bird, the new EP, July 3rd. So rush out to your computer keyboard and punch a few buttons and download that, buy that one. And I think that's it. Any other words from Single Lock and across the river from Florence, Alabama today?
When all this is over and you can go see artists play again, go to our website, singlelock.com. We keep tour dates up active for all of our artists. And, let's work hard to make sure that the music business coming out of this pandemic is a more fair and equitable business for artists. Don't complain about a cover charge ever again after this pandemic, people. Don't do it. Buy the record, buy the CD, go on Bandcamp, buy the download if you feel so inclined. All of that stuff really does make a difference for people. I have now seen what happens when you take people off the road indefinitely. And it is a really, really intense reality for a lot of our artists, and they will need your support, and we'll welcome it. So personally, I'm really excited about what happens when this is over. I think that people are going to remember just how much they love this stuff and how much they need it. And we're going to be here to provide more music to you. So it's really exciting. And I think, if you're looking for in my opinion, a truly accurate and full representation of Southern music and what it has to offer, I think we get pretty dang close. And I'm really proud of our roster, across genres, across racial lines, across socioeconomic lines. I think we really have a lot of different things to offer, and that's something that you can explore while you're bored and quarantined. Just go to our website and check it out. So, yeah, I think there's something there that'll bring you joy.
Yes,
and we all need that right now. And I would just take 10 minutes and go scroll through our page, and I bet you'll find something you like. And that hopefully makes your life better, and it will definitely make the artist's life better. And that's a win-win. What other things do you have to do in your day that are a win-win?
Exactly.
We should all want to do that.
Exactly.
So that's my invitation to you. Please take me up.
That sounds good. And we have certainly done it with the vinyl here. Plus we've got some CDs and downloads and stuff from you guys. So we appreciate it. We hope you guys get back to making some more music very soon. So Reed Watson, Single Lock Records, the band Speckled Bird, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to see you around at a protest again soon.
Thank you, Tim.
All right,
I'll
take care.
Definitely see you there.
All right, thanks.